Now let's hop into probably the most controversial one, which is the Lakers. A lot of people saying Russ is a good. A lot of people saying that Russ is a good fit for the Lakers. A lot of people saying Russ isn't a good fit for the Lakers. So it's very divided from what I've seen. Personally, I'm on the side that Russ will not work for the Lakers. And I've talked to Fernando. Fernando is also on the side that Russ will not work for the Lakers. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that Russ isn't going to work for the Lakers because of team chemistry and because of ego problems. I don't personally agree with that. Like, Russell Westbrook does have an ego. LeBron does have an ego. And they can clash. However, you look at the Instagram videos from when Westbrook was traded, him and LeBron are out, like, smoking cigars together. Like, they get along well. Not only that, but Russell Westbrook played with Harden, and Harden had a very big ego on the Rockets, and then he also came off the bench for Chris Paul. So I think Russell Westbrook will be a lot better at taking sort of a secondary role, or not even a secondary because they have AD, but a third role than people estimate. I don't think he'll have as bad of an ego problem as people think he will. However, this has been beaten into the ground. Spacing is not going to work. Russell Westbrook is probably one of the worst three shooters in the league right now. In fact, I'm going to look it up. Lowest three-point percentage 2021. Russell Westbrook, he's not going to work for the Lakers, in my opinion. Again, the ego problem I don't think is going to be that bad. And this has been beaten into the ground. It's a spacing issue. Russell Westbrook has one of the worst three-point shooting, and what the Lakers really need is a three-point shooter. So I personally would have gone with somebody like Chris Paul, because before the Westbrook trade was finalized, Chris Paul was also a free agent, and then after Westbrook got signed to the Lakers, then Chris Paul signed back with the Suns. Chris Paul, I think, would have been a much better fit, even though Chris Paul probably wouldn't have taken the amount of money that the Lakers would have given him, and that's probably one of the main reasons he signed back with Phoenix is because he wants to get that check. Anyways, going back to Westbrook, though, Westbrook has like he has like a 30% three. Kyle Kuzma got traded to the Wizards, and everybody was saying Kyle Kuzma couldn't shoot. And then you trade for Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is an all-star, but he still can't shoot his threes. What the Lakers really needed was a three-point shooter, because look at the way Westbrook plays. Westbrook, his main way of playing is driving through the paint. It wouldn't be smart to do that on the Lakers because you have LeBron and AD already on your team. What you need is LeBron and AD to control the paint, and then your other starters or people on the court to kind of set a perimeter around the three. That way, if LeBron or AD get crowded in the paint, they can pass it out, and they have a shot at the 3-point line. Russell Westbrook can't do that, and that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that Kyle Kuzma got traded is because Kyle Kuzma couldn't shoot. So then you trade for Westbrook. Westbrook is an all-star, but you essentially have the same problem. You didn't solve anything. All you did was create the same problem with a more popular player, if that makes sense. Like, Russell Westbrook's name may mean more, but in practice, it's going to be the same sort of play style and same sort of issue. And then the Lakers got a bunch of other players that I'm going to go ahead and read out that can actually help with that issue. So Russell Westbrook, as much as everybody thinks obviously he's going to start, he could be starting at the beginning of the beginning of the season, but I think after a while they may start playing Westbrook less because he's not going to be what they need. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted to talk about the most for the Lakers, okay? So Bleacher Report has posted this on their Instagram and their Twitter, and I want to read out what it says. These are the ages for the 2021-2022 seasons of Lakers, okay? Melo is 37, Braun is 36, Gasol is 36, Ariza is 36, Dwight's 35, Ellington's 33, Bazemore 32, Russ is 32, AD is 28, Nunn is 26, Monk is 23, and THT is 20. Take a look at those numbers. 8 out of your 12 players are above 30. And I think it's pretty obvious, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. I think it's obvious what the Lakers are trying to do. They're enticing these players that are older, kind of coming to the end of their excuse me. They're taking these older players that are kind of coming to the end of their time in the NBA, and they're saying like, hey, it's going to be less money for you, but look at all these other players we have on the team. We have LeBron, we have AD, we have Russell Westbrook now. Would you be willing to take a pay cut and maybe get a ring? And I think it's very obvious that's what they're doing. They're getting all these old guys and all these great players that still don't have rings and saying, hey, if you can take a pay cut, you can come play with us, and then you have a good shot at a championship. Which, again, I think you could have gotten Chris Paul the same way. Chris Paul still hasn't won a ring, and he's getting up there. But the condition that I explained earlier is by getting all these players, a lot of people have to take pay cuts. And I think that Chris Paul wouldn't be willing to take that pay cut, and so they couldn't get Chris Paul. If Chris Paul was willing to take a pay cut, though, then get Chris Paul instead, and you're still achieving what I think you're going for, which is convincing these old players they'll get a ring in order to join your team to create a super team. And then, but that's what I wanted to talk about the most with the ages. It's the Lakers are filling their roster with old players that don't have rings, and asking them if they're willing to take pay cuts so they can create basically a super team in order to get a ring. And I think this goes back into the GOAT argument. I think this is further proof that LeBron is not the GOAT, because he's having to get all this, you're putting all this star power on his team, and I still don't think he'll even win a championship this year, even with all those players. That's my honest opinion. The Bulls. So that's all I got for. Actually, no, I have something else for Lakers. Lakers. Carmelo and LeBron already have that team chemistry. I think that Carmelo to the Lakers is going to be a great opportunity. However, it could go the opposite way. I think Melo and LeBron are going to be great together. However, because they've been friends since high school. However, Harden and Russell Westbrook uh, also have known each other for a long time, and whenever they were put on a team, they didn't do great together. So we'll just have to see what happens. It could go either way. It could turn into a Harden Westbrook situation, um, or it could be a great opportunity for both of them. So that's one where we just kind of have to wait and see.